If you've been shopping for budget robotic pool cleaners, you've probably seen a bunch of them out there and wondered if any of them will actually clean your pool. So I grabbed one of the most affordable ones I could find that claims to actually clean the entire pool, the Wybot B1, and I tested it in my own pool. And here's my honest answer. The results were a little bit better than I expected, but before I recommend it, there is a catch. Before I get into it though, if you find this kind of content helpful, then please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. It helps us out tremendously and it doesn't cost a thing. I've tested a lot of pool cleaners at this point, everything from budget models like this one all the way up to the higher end units. So I have a really clear idea of what to expect at all the different tier levels. This one sits right on the edge of the budget category where you're trying to still save some money, but you actually want something that will clean your entire pool, or at least the floor, walls, and waterline. My first impression of it is it's lightweight, it's easy to handle, it's pretty simple to get started. The app is easy to set up and use. It's not complicated to get it going. You charge it, drop it in, and let it go. If you'd never used a robotic cleaner before, this is pretty beginner friendly. Now let's talk about what actually matters, how it cleans, because this is what most people really care about. And honestly, this is where it surprised me a little bit. It actually does clean the full pool, floor, walls, and it even makes it up to the waterline. It picked up the typical stuff you'd expect. Dirt, some leaves, nothing crazy, but it handled normal cleaning just fine. The filter basket is on the smaller side and it's just normal filtration, so it's not really designed for those ultrafine particles, but being realistic, neither are most of the other budget cleaners in this category, so that's to be expected. Navigation is decent. There's nothing really super high tech going on here with cameras or AI based anything really, but it ends up covering the pool in most cases anyway. So from a pure does it work standpoint, yeah, it does. But this is also where you start to see the cost savings come in. It doesn't have a lot of frills and it's not quite as efficient or as consistent as a lot of models that you might find in the bottom end of that mid-tier cleaner category. You'll notice it does take a little longer to get full coverage and the patterns can seem kind of random at times. And when it comes to just overall polished cleaning, like how well it handles edges or how thoroughly it scrubs, it's not on the same level as a lot of the options that you could find if you're willing to invest just a little bit more. It's not bad, it's just a stripped down, more basic version of what these cleaners can be. And that's the part that makes it kind of a tough recommendation because, well, it is on the more affordable side, it's sitting really close to a category where for just a little bit more, you could get a noticeably better cleaner. Ones that clean more efficiently, navigate better, have longer warranties, and just feel more dialed in overall. So you end up in kind of this really weird spot where, yeah, it does work, but you're really close to options that work way better in almost every way. That said, there is still a place for something like this. If you've got a smaller pool with lighter debris or just want something that can handle everyday cleaning without spending a ton, something like this will work. And it's also a decent entry point if you've never used a robotic pool cleaner before and just want to try one out without going all in, or if you're just looking for a budget option that can carry you through a couple seasons until you upgrade to a better one. Under those circumstances, this definitely makes sense. But if you're already thinking long term and you know you want something more efficient with more features, then you might be better off just stepping up just a bit, because that mid-tier category is where you start to see a pretty noticeable jump in performance. So overall, the Wybot B1 robotic pool cleaner is just one of those products that lands right in the middle. It works, it cleans your pool, it's easy to use, but it's also really close to some better options, and that's what makes the decision a little bit harder. If your goal is to stay as budget friendly as possible, but still have something that will clean your entire pool, this is worth taking a look at. I'll throw a link down below in the description. That is an affiliate link. It does help the channel at no extra cost to you. I really appreciate it when you use those to make purchases or even just to check pricing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.